Hey, Yinz guys and gals, gather round for a journey like no other. It's time to hop on board the Where Yinz Goin podcast, proudly brought to you by Dreams by Design Travel. From the rivers that meet at the point to form downtown Pittsburgh to the furthest corners of the globe, that'll be your compass, your confidant, your companion in that as we explore the wonders of travel. Kick back, relax on your couch, and let the wanderlust wash over Yinz as we discover new horizons and reminisce about old favorites. With Dreams by Design Travel by our side, the sky's the limit. Join Matt on the Where Yinz Goin podcast because when it comes to travel, the journey's just getting started. And now, without further ado, let's give a shout for your guide through the highways and byways of travel, the man with a map, the voice of the steel city, Matt Trader.
How Yinz doing? Welcome to the Where Yinz Goin podcast, brought to you by Dreams by Design Travel. I'm Matt. I'm your host. Joining me again today is Katie, who you remember from episode 8 about Run Disney. Welcome back to the podcast, Katie.
Thanks for having me here, Matt.
Wonderful to have you back. So, like we start all podcasts, we ask the same question. What is your favorite place that you've ever visited, or is there a place you would still like to visit the most?
All right. So last time I went with the place I would like to visit the most. This time I want to share my current favorite place that I've been visiting, and that's Boston. I absolutely love Boston. The amount of history that's there, and just being able to walk around a city and have that small community feel in a huge city. There's tons of activities, great for both families and adult trips, and the food is phenomenal. So that is my current place to go.
I like how that's a running theme also among my guests of here's the most recent place that I've been wanting to go. It changes. And I agree.
It does.
Boston is wonderful. Just a few, actually, 2000 in 2020, my wife and I were there like a month before the world shut down. Of course, we were there in February for a conference. And
It's a little chilly.
let's say I've been to Austin in August, in November, or July, end of July, August for conferences. I've been to Phoenix in August for a conference. It's like, can we balance these out a little bit? But we even tried to
Rearrange that travel schedule.
seriously. But whenever we were in Boston, we did take, at least for part of it, one of the outdoor walking tours. And until we had a plane to catch, so that was our excuse. Not that it was too cold and we were freezing, but we also went there as a family back in 1994. So this was right when the World Cup was in the U.S. And we went to Boston in July, just a few days after one of the World Cup games. And so the food there, though, we went to Cheers,
Yes.
of course, which is so different, completely different from what you see in the movie. We did a lot of the touristy things, but we got some lobster there. It was, oh my gosh, that was so amazing. That and the
Yep.
clam
Best
chowder.
clam chowder of my life.
We went to Boston for a few days, saw a bunch of the touristy things, took a bunch of the tours, which were very informative. And I like history anyway. And growing up, we were always fans of the Boston Celtics, mainly because of Larry Bird, which actually I'm wearing a Larry Bird jersey now. So,
Coincidence.
yeah, just amazing. And so my family just likes the city of Boston, and going through all that was just so much fun. Then we went up to Cape Cod for a few days too. And if you're a baseball fan, the Cape Cod Wooden Bat League is basically the up and coming players who were still amateurs, college, maybe just got out of college, waiting, trying to make a team. It's all wooden bats, so you don't hear the ping of metal like you do in college, and it's a really big thing up there, and you get some good baseball.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. And I'm with you on the walking tours, not only the history ones, but when I took my Girl Scout troop last year, we did a true crime one where it kind of progressed from light crime to serial killers throughout the night. So as the night got darker, you got into darker and darker crime. Very cool.
That's awesome. So, but I'll have you on some other time, and we'll talk about Boston,
Yeah,
and we can go into
clearly we
that.
have a lot to say.
So, but today we're going to talk about the most wonderful time of the year at the most happiest place on the earth and also the most magical place on earth. So we're going to go to both Walt Disney World, which for those who don't know, it's the most magical place on earth, and Disneyland Resort out in California, which is the happiest place on earth. So no matter where you go, you can't go wrong, really.
Absolutely right. And it's for the most wonderful time of year, Christmas.
And the way Disney does Christmas cannot be beat. That's usually when my family makes the trip down is a week or so before Christmas. This year we're going a little bit afterwards, so we're going right after New Year's. But most of the decorations are still put up then, so you still get that atmosphere and the music and the festivities. And I don't know, my growing up in Pittsburgh, my mom and my sisters are always say, "Oh, don't it doesn't feel like Christmas. It's too warm and whatever else." And like I want the snow and everything. It's like, no, we're in Pittsburgh. If anything, it's gonna be 40 degrees and rainy on Christmas. So I'd
Hmm.
much rather have it be 70s, 80s, and sunny on Christmas. So, you know.
Well, and at Disney World, you get Snow. So you get your own version of snow, even if
Which
it is 70, 80 degrees out.
but wearing shorts on Christmas, it doesn't bother me. So,
Oh, I'm with you there.
and yeah, be careful of the snope. They make it snow in several different areas, and it's basically little bubbles, but don't look up at them. I made that mistake
Yeah.
once, and you'll get the snope in your eyes, and it burns. There's no Disney magic with that. It is actual soap, okay?
Yep. It looks pretty, does not feel pretty in the eye.
So we are going to start talking about Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. All the parks, the resorts, Disney Springs, they're all decorated with giant Christmas trees, garlands, lights, smaller Christmas trees in the stores. Um, the Dapper Dans will sing Christmas songs in Magic Kingdom Park. It's so fabulous. If you when you go to they start this around mid-ish November when they start decorating, sometimes a little bit before. And if you cannot get in the Christmas spirit when you are at a Disney park during the Christmas season, then you're Ebenezer Scrooge and bah humbug. So it is. I just can't say enough. This is where I wish I was an English major so I could wax poetically and everything.
You're absolutely right, though, that Christmas at Disney is a completely different level. No matter where you look, you see something that brings you into the Christmas spirit. You see decorations, you see characters in different costumes, all sorts of things. And one of the best parts is the castle and how the castle is full of ice. It's an ice castle. It's amazing.
And seeing that at night and whenever they do their nighttime show and right before the fireworks or depending on the night if they have Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party going, they have the castle show a little bit earlier. But seeing the castle in the process of becoming the snow castle
Hmm.
is it's just fabulous. I have video of this that a couple of different times just because it's like, oh, that was great. Now I'm gonna try it from a little different angle, a little bit different angle, and it you have to see it. That's all I'm saying. You have to see it.
Yep, I agree. The way that so just so everyone knows, the show that brings the castle to life is a Frozen show. So Elsa helps bring the castle into this beautiful snow ice castle. And it is an amazing show. But like Matt said, it is absolutely amazing to watch. It's one of those things that you have to see to believe and how it just transforms completely.
And something they used to do that I don't think they do anymore, but they before they have this transformation, they would light the castle up in different colored lights, and it would kind of ever so slowly change from like a blue to a purplish to a pinkish to a greenish turquoise back to the blue. And oh, I just kept looking at the castle every 5 minutes. Oh, it's a new color, new picture. Oh, it's a new color, new picture, and just kept doing that. Last time we were there,
You've
I
got
don't
a lot of
remember
castle
seeing it.
pictures.
Well, I had the other Katie on for one of the we were talking about sandals, I believe, And she said that, she's like, realized later on, how many pictures of this gorgeous beach can I take? And the answer is at least one more.
Yep, that's perfect.
And this is why I'm thankful that we have digital cameras now and not the little disposable ones, because I don't know if I'd be able to carry all those little ones in my backpack. So we're actually going to go and talk about things in somewhat of a logical order. So what we want to start with is something that Walt Disney World is very famous for at Christmas time, are the gingerbread houses. So you'll find, well, it's gingerbread structures. They're not all houses that at Disney Beach Club Resort, the Boardwalk in the Grand Californian, the Contemporary, and in the American Adventure in Epcot. So it's on another podcast we're talking about the different hotels and resorts that one of the episodes is on. Well, actually, two episodes. We talked so long about it. Is the Crescent Lake resorts. So Yacht Club, Beach Club, and the Boardwalk. The Beach Club, that is my favorite place to stay in that general area.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Beach Club, they have a giant gingerbread carousel that it's made completely of gingerbread. It's not one that rivals the one that's in Magic Kingdom Park or anything. But if you go to like a mall or little arcade type area, the little ones that kids can ride on, it's about that size.
It's big. It's surprisingly big when you see it in person. And it's an amazing structure. The amount of engineering that goes into that and what they can create with gingerbread, the fact that it moves, everything around that structure is just beautiful. I have a lot of pictures of that carousel.
And they even they have a little plaque there that tells the ingredients that are in each of these structures. And so just for example, the carousel is 36 pounds of honey, 96 pounds of bread flour, 100 pints of eggs, 10 pounds of spice, 100 quarts of simple syrup, 100 pounds of icing, 50 pounds of dark chocolate, 200 gummy paste flours, lots of enthusiasm, energy, and talent. And the one picture that I looked at was from 2008, and I have them. It said 2008 pieces of gingerbread. Then in 2012, they jumped it up to 2012 and 2006. So they make it a little bit bigger every year. And they also have, of course, since it's Disney, hidden Mickeys. And for this one, that was in 2008, it was 9 hidden Mickeys. I can go back and tell you each of the years, going up if you'd like, but it's a fun thing to do, that there is something more than just looking at, that you get the hidden Mickey stuff too, which that's a whole other episode.
Yep. And each year the theme of the carousel changes.
Yes.
So I think the last time that I went at Christmas when I got to see the carousel was 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. And it was Little Mermaid theme, I believe it was that year. So every year you see a different version of the carousel. The carousel is always there, but it's fun to see what they come up with. And it's always unique and just extremely well done.
Oh, absolutely. Across Crescent Lake at the Boardwalk, they get a little more variety in what they do. That I've seen one that was a chimney display that had, I believe it was Donald Duck like hanging out of the chimney, like he was coming down to Santa. And of course, they have presents all around the bottom, and it was like from Mickey to Minnie, from Aladdin to Jasmine, and so it's Disney themed of who's giving who presents. One year it was just tiny little, well, what we would normally buy in a store and build gingerbread houses, but there were a bunch of different ones. They were all themed to different things. One time it was a giant gingerbread house that they were actually selling gingerbread out of, which they also do in the Grand Floridian. But
Yep.
the Grand Floridian one is, they go above and beyond, and the Grand Floridian one is much bigger, and it's there every year that they sell the gingerbread from that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one I think theme of all of the gingerbread structures is just how well done they are. And that every year I think they top the prior year. So depending on, what they do at Boardwalk this year, we'll see what they come up with, but there's always something amazing to see.
And that's something that we even do no matter where we're staying, which resort, is that during one of the days, especially when we get a little bit tired of waiting in line, or if it gets kind of crowded and we just need a break instead of taking the pool break or whatever, we will go resort hopping. And especially
Mhm.
if we're either at Hollywood Studios or at Epcot, one of the things we always do also is take the Skyliner, not to get anywhere, but just to take the Skyliner as a ride and to see the views from up there, which is gorgeous. And we'll go to the Riviera Resort, and we'll sometimes look around there, and then we end up at, no matter if we start or end, if we're at Epcot, we'll walk over or take the Friendship to the Crescent Lake hotels and walk around those, and partly just to see the gingerbread houses and stuff. And if we start in Hollywood Studios, we'll take it all the way to the end and then walk over. And whenever we go to the Magic Kingdom, I love the monorail, and we'll do resort hopping there, especially later in the evening too. If the park closes early for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and if we don't have tickets to it, it's a nice evening activity just to go look at the resort, do some shopping, grab something to eat. And my wife loves eating at uh, the Polynesian Resort, so we always make
Oh,
it.
I agree with her there. But I think that Christmas time is the best time to resort hop. I mean, really, there's no bad time to resort hop, but Christmas especially, every resort is doing something special within their own resort, whether it's a Christmas tree or the gingerbread houses, or something entirely different. Every resort does have something, and it's just really fun to see how they change for the holidays.
And how they change year to year during the
Yeah.
holidays. That the people who work for Disney in the Christmas area, that is a full-time year-round job. That as soon as they start taking down the decorations for one year, they're planning the next year. And actually probably even before that, that it's a constant thing of upgrading and changing and improving. And like Walt Disney used to say, he's plussing it.
Oh, yeah. And the size of the warehouses they have that they store everything in. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but for anyone who's interested, if you want to learn more about behind the scenes at Disney for Christmas, on Disney Plus, there is a special all about the holidays at Disney. And it talks about the warehouses, how they put things up. It shows them transforming the castle overnight. It's just really interesting to see what goes into transforming Disney World for Christmas.
And I don't know if it's all, well, they have a behind the scenes tour, at least in Disneyland. They used to have one in Walt Disney World too. And some of the other behind the scene tours would take you back to some of those warehouses. And I think we went to the Chris one. I know one had parade floats that we got to see. We might have gotten to see the Christmas one. I can't remember. It was like 15 years ago that I did that tour. And it was, but the behind the scenes tours, by the way, there's a whole other podcast episode devoted to the behind the scenes tours if you'd like to listen and learn more about that. So those are great. And something that's not a gingerbread house, but at the yacht club, they have a giant train display. Well, it's not giant, it's probably 10 feet, oh, 15 feet by about 8 feet, I guess, somewhere around there. So I've seen much bigger ones in other places, especially if you're from Pittsburgh. The Carnegie Science Center has a giant one, takes up an entire room that it's completely massive. It's, oh, got to be maybe 100 feet long and 30 feet wide. And so, but this one's the nice thing about the yacht club one is that they have all kinds of the buildings and everything are themed to the yacht and beach club, either the restaurants or the the shops or the pool or whatever else. So you see a Hurricane Hannah sign on top of the one building and everything. So, and there's a little animation. So it's really cute. I looking at the details of that and the little hidden things of, oh, there's Minnie there, and oh, look at this, and
Mhm.
there's Donald trying to sneak into Santa's bag or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, everything that they do, you have to look for the hidden items because there's so much detail. Um, so, I mean, you really covered that very well. But just in general, anytime you're looking at a display, look for what's hidden in it because there's always something.
And that's even anytime you're looking at anything in Disney, like walking down
Mm-hmm.
Main Street USA, look up at the windows. You need to see
Read the names.
read the names of Disney legends and people who helped build Magic Kingdom. And in Disneyland, they got the same thing.
Yep. It's very cool the amount of detail that goes into everything.
So we mentioned it before, but they also have giant Christmas trees, which I don't know. I didn't bring my tape measure on my last trip, but they have to be at least 50 feet tall.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They're huge.
And every one of the parks has one. They move them around sometimes. This past year, the Hollywood Studios one was right by Echo Lake, and before it's been right out in front of the park. And they're all they theme them differently every year, but it's something that is related to that park. Like the Animal Kingdom one had little ornaments that looked like Simba
Yep.
and little
Yeah,
cutout
each
animals.
one is individual to the parks, and there's again the amount of detail that goes into it is just incredible. But I love the Animal Kingdom one. That's actually one of my favorites.
And seeing the parks during the day and at night, because during the day you get to see all the garland and the wreaths and the tree and everything and a lot of the details, but then at night it is just something completely different with all the lights that are there, because all those the garlands and the wreaths and everything have lights in them, and so it's something different. And I want to say it's more beautiful because of the lights and at night and just the way it sparkles and glows. And it brings back the memories of whenever you're a kid and you have the Christmas tree up in your living room, and it's getting ready, it's Christmas Eve and you turn all the lights out and just have the Christmas tree lights on, and it really really just puts you in that atmosphere, especially because of the music. And they have Christmas music playing all the time, no matter where you're at, whether it's in some of the resorts or at the parks.
Yeah, and actually the Hollywood Studios Christmas soundtrack is my favorite. It is a lot of older Christmas music. So like I think there's Dean Martin on there, Let It Snow. It's a lot of kind of the 50s Christmas music. Really fun to listen to. I actually have that playlist at home that I turn on just because it's the older music that just gets you in the spirit. But the Christmas trees also are a great place to do family pictures. So that's something that I always do as a tradition with my family. We always take a picture in front of the tree, all of us together. There are typically photo pass photographers there, and we can use that for Christmas cards, which we've done in the past, but we also just have them framed on the wall because it's a great time to have the family together, all wearing our Christmas shirts and enjoying the season.
Do you have your ugly Christmas sweaters on when you do this?
No, we have our Disney Christmas shirts. So our
Okay.
first trip to Disney that we did as a whole big family was in 2014 for Christmas. And my mom bought every one of us Christmas shirts at that time. So every time we go back, we are wearing our Christmas shirts. Well, at least I'm wearing mine. My kids have outgrown theirs. So they have to get new shirts every year. But it's a family tradition for us. And I even wear it on Christmas Day. I always wear my Disney Christmas shirt for my mom.
That's a great tradition. That's also one of the good and bad things about kids, that they outgrow things, but then you get new things
I
more often.
know.
It's like, oh, I've had this shirt for like 5 years now. I never had that as a kid. So, it gives you a reason to
Yep.
do more shopping.
Yeah, my shirt is 10 years old. They grew out of theirs in about 10 minutes. So,
Yeah. Also, besides just being at the parks, some of the resorts have giant Christmas trees too.
mhm.
Out front of the Contemporary, there's often one. In the lobby of the Grand Floridian, there's usually one, along with the giant gingerbread house. And whenever they film the Christmas parade, which they usually do sometime in November-ish when they've already get some nice weather, depending on the time, it might be December, early December, but they film that well in advance. But this was maybe 10 years ago, that they had Celine Dion sing "Oh Come All Ye Faithful" in the Grand Floridian lobby, accompanied by choir. And go ahead and look it up on YouTube. I'll let you pause this podcast and then go listen to that. It is the most beautiful song I have, especially even the most beautiful rendition of that song, and maybe the most beautiful song ever that I've ever heard. That her voice is so angelic, and with the choir in the background, it was just so beautiful.
It's really amazing the performers that they have there. Um, never had a bad performer ever in Disney. And the names that they get, not only for this festival, but for all of them, the Epcot festivals, the Broadway names, all of that, the caliber of performances that happen, obviously Celine Dion's way up here. But it's incredible what they can bring to the parks.
Yeah, I think now it's to a point that Disney wants to get these great performers, obviously because they're great performers, but the great performers want to be at Disney because it is Disney.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
to, well, since we're talking about Christmas, it's a snowball effect that, both get the reputation of performing at Disney gets higher and higher, so more and more higher caliber performers want to be there, and then he's able to get higher and higher caliber because of it, and so it just keeps feeding on itself, and you get such a fabulous product as a result.
And we'll definitely talk about that when we talk about the Candlelight Processional in a while too,
Oh yes,
because some of those names are pretty darn incredible.
absolutely. So other things we mentioned are about the snow, and Katie mentioned the special costumes for the characters that they're in. Donald Duck in his plaid lumberjack jacket, or he's wearing a scarf around his neck. And it, whenever we were there last time, that we saw Donald at just about every park, and my little girl wanted to get a picture with him. It's Donald again. Hey, do you remember you from yesterday? And of course, Donald's waving and saying hello and saying yes because Donald's, oh, he has a good memory. They say about elephants, but ducks have good memories too.
Hmm.
They
Ducks
have
and mice.
yes, and dogs too, because can't forget Pluto and Goofy, and I guess
That's
chipmunks.
absolutely
And
right.
so, with seeing the different costumes, that's it's unique, and people come to Disney at different times of year just partly because of that as well. That they want to get their pictures with the characters in their different costumes, and it's kind of like it. It's like a collector's item. I have this picture now of this person in this costume.
Yep. Yeah, they always have really fun things. I love oh gosh, Stitch dresses as Santa, right?
Hmm.
Santa Stitch. So that's always a great one to see. And then I love watching the parade because everyone is kind of wearing their finest costume and Mickey in his plaid, and it's just really fun to see them all dressed up and celebrating the holidays.
Plus, the music that they have during those it's
Hmm.
going to be a more of a festive, Christmassy, or well, it's not all Christmas too. So anyone who is not does not celebrate Christmas, it's not you're gonna be hit over the head with that. That there are just other wintertime songs like Jingle Bells or Frosty
Yeah.
the Snowman, things like that. That is more of a winter celebration, and we'll get to some of the other religions too. Whenever we get to the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays, that they have especially if you love Frozen with the parades, that obviously it's winter stuff. So Elsa and Olaf and Anna, they are primarily featured in these.
Yep. And my favorite is the ending of the parade. I love seeing Santa. That is an absolute favorite thing of mine. And it is not Christmas until you see Santa in the Disney parade.
That's kind of like with Macy's. He's at the end of that one, and that kind of starts the Christmas season. But then
Yeah.
it culminates with Santa at the Disney parade, and that's a yearly thing that it is that we watch that Christmas morning. That we that I know my sisters always want to watch Christmas Story, and that's on the 24-hour thing. But it's
Yep.
hey, 10 o'clock. We're gonna not watch it this 2 hours. We're gonna watch something else as we're opening presents at my parents' house and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, you have to watch that parade.
And especially since they take you to both coasts, and it's not just the parade, that they take you to some of the other attractions, and you get to see some of the resorts and how they're all decorated. And especially after you go to on a Disney trip, you have your going through Disney withdrawal, that having if we're there in December right before Christmas, that week later, you still get that little bit of taste of Disney that helps you, ease yourself off a bit. Or whenever we go a little bit later, like this year, it's the excitement building up trip. You have to watch that. It's like, oh, we're gonna be there in a few days. We're gonna be there in a few days, type thing.
Yeah, it is definitely a magical time to be going. My favorite time of year to go actually is the week right after Thanksgiving.
It's usually not very crowded then, and but
Hmm.
you still get all the decorations. You have usually pretty nice weather, so yeah, that's usually perfect. We usually wait a few other weeks to whenever I can get the time off. This year I can't get time off until like right before Christmas. And with my wife, she teaches at college, so it's managing schedules of, all right, when's finals done? Let's go down. And so this year it's a little bit too late, so we can't get down. And over Christmas is just so busy and crowded and
Yeah.
swamped. But a little bit before or a little bit after, and especially right after Thanksgiving, whenever they have that big mad rush and then it's a little bit deader, that's the sweet spot of going.
Oh yeah, if you get there the Sunday after Thanksgiving to the next Saturday, that is the sweet spot for me. That's what I've always found works really well. The crowds are lower, everyone just left from Thanksgiving week, and it's usually at the same time that all of the parties are really going and really started. And all of the festival of the holidays usually starts right at that time as well.
Hmm. Another great thing about being there during the holidays is the merchandise.
Hmm.
The different, the special Mickey ears that are holiday themed, the like a Santa hat that has the Mickey ears on it, or the Stitch ears coming out of it, and then there's the shirts and there's Christmas ornaments. Although you can always get some Christmas ornaments at Ye Old Christmas Shop in Magic Kingdom Park, which no matter when I go, I still want to walk in there because again, it's gives you a
Me
Christmas
too.
vibe. Even if it's 95 degrees and it's in July, you got to stop in.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite things too is every year they release a Christmas resorts pin set. Um, or a lot of years they have. I don't know if they're going to do it this year, but I always have fun going through those for my favorite resorts and getting the Christmas versions for those resorts. One year they did gingerbread ones. That was very cool. Some years they've done princess ones. It changes every year.
And on that note of Christmas ornaments, are you signed up for the 12Ks of Christmas, right?
I did not this year. So I signed up for it last year. Absolutely loved it. Love the Christmas ornaments. They are on my, or they were on my tree. I did finally take my tree down this year. But I did not sign up for it this year because they were pretty much the same ornaments as last year. But
Okay. I
I tried to temper it because I'm doing wine and dine this year and the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. So I had to draw my line somewhere.
well, I did not do the 12Ks last year, so I will do it this year. So at least one of us is doing it. So I'll pick up the slack and
Yes,
we'll.
you're gonna love it. And the merchandise that comes with the 12Ks of Christmas too is phenomenal. I have a nice long sleeve hooded shirt and a Corksicle hot chocolate mug.
So when I sent you the pictures of the medals I got for the virtual one over the summer,
Yes, I did that one too.
those were
Love the
so great.
medals. They were. Yep. Did you finish all your races yet?
Yeah, I got them all done like the one of the first days we could do it.
Perfect.
So, all right, but anyway, back to what we're talking about. Beyond just all the decorations they have at the resorts and in the parks, some of the attractions get special overlays for the holidays. And we're not going to go through every single one of them, but just a couple of the ones that are more prominent and the ones that stand out for me that I like the most. The Living with the Land that I think it was Amanda and I talked about the behind the scenes tours that she loves going on, just the Living with the Land just in general, because they change it throughout, each season they change the decorations on it. But during Christmas, there's big Christmas ornaments that you might see in there. They have Christmas lights up. Um, the Some of the pumpkins, might be decorated, with like a Santa hat on it or something along those lines. That it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's the one overlay I wait for every year. Living with the Land is actually one of my favorite rides. but living with the land at Christmas it's beautiful to ride through, especially if you do it at night, because if you do it at night, it is all lit up with Christmas lights, and it's really a magical ride through the gardens in there. And they do have a giant Mickey head as well that's like it looks like a Mickey reindeer head. So that's a very cool thing to see too. But living with the land is a very special overlay at Christmas.
And yeah, I agree. That is a very underrated attraction at
Oh,
Walt Disney World.
absolutely.
That there's hardly ever any line. You get to sit down, go on a nice little boat ride. The scenery's really pretty. You get to actually learn something as you're going through it. So
And it's air conditioned.
always important.
And there's always little things, the hidden details that we were talking about earlier. That's true in living with the land. So when you are going through it, keep an eye out for those as you look at the different plants. Sometimes you'll see props mixed in with the plants that will be from a character, or around the holidays, you'll see gifts, or you'll see like you said, pumpkins decorated a certain way, just different hidden details throughout the ride or throughout the attraction that just put a little magical spin on things.
And we can clarify that in Disney, Walt, in any Disney park, there are no rides, they are attractions.
That
But
is
I think we are
absolutely
safe to
right.
say that since this one actually moves, that you are riding it. So calling it a ride is, I think that's okay.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
helping me on the save there.
Don't get mad at us, Disney, for not using the attraction thing. So we want to distinguish when you are actually moving, you are riding. So technically, but not everything at Disney moves. So that's why they're all attractions. Possibly my favorite is another boat ride, but it's the Jungle Cruise. But at Christmas, it is the Jingle Cruise. And they really do a lot of, they go out all out on this, that they even change the names of the boats, that they'll have like a little, and of course, it's done in a very cheesy, chintzy looking way. That's like they just nailed something over top of the original one. And of course, it's on there securely, it's not going to fall off. And they're really well done with the artistry. It looks like it's just a haphazard thing that the skippers did just to decorate for Christmas. And they have other
Mhm.
decorations throughout the attraction. That back when Trader Sam was there, like sometimes he'd be wearing a Christmas hat or a Santa hat or something like that. And the skippers have brown Santa hats. So it's brown because it matches the rest of their outfit with the khaki, or I guess it's khaki Santa hats. And a lot of them just wear it like, tucked into their belt. Um, and of course, they tell a little bit more of a Christmas spiel during it too, or holiday, winterish one. But of course, some of the great dad joke one-liners are still there. So you still get your
Yes,
play the hits.
very holiday punny.
Exactly. Another one that gets a big overlay, and it's even more so at Disneyland Resort, is It's a Small World. That with some of the costumes and some of the extra things with getting Christmas lights and Christmas trees and Santa or a reindeer or whatever in there, that they throw it in. It's for an attraction that is geared towards little kids anyway. To have that extra little bit of a Christmas can really, really bring out the excitement. And I know that my little girl, she's 4, loves seeing all the little dolls and they're dancing and singing, and she'll be singing along with them. And but then to see the Christmas, like, oh look, Daddy, there's a Christmas tree, or look, they have presents there, or look what. And being around Christmas with little kids and building the excitement, it just goes right into it.
Oh, absolutely. And that ride is pretty magical for kids anyway. But with the Christmas overlay, just those special touches, it makes a big difference. And a lot of like that last room of It's a Small World to me is very Christmassy in color anyway, with the silver and the white. So it's just a fun way to celebrate.
And in Disneyland, that they have a different exterior than they do in Disney World. The Disneyland one, I think, is so much better that it's, well, it's outdoors and they can do this because they don't get the rain and everything that you do in Florida. But during Christmas, it is all lit up with lights. I mean, it's like just covered with completely with red lights. And I don't know if they change it every year. I think whenever we were there last time, it was red. And oh, it just glows. It is so bright because there's so many lights on it that you can like read a book walking past it because it's so bright. That but it's just so pretty. Another one is the Haunted Mansion that they do a Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack Skellington and Sally overlay to it. That they start this back in like, well, it's probably there. Yeah, it's definitely there now. Well,
Hmm.
especially when this airs. We're recording a little bit earlier, but late August is whenever they do start doing the Halloween stuff, and the Haunted Mansion gets the Haunted Mansion holiday, and it's all themed towards the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, and this one actually lasts a bit longer too. I was there for the races in January and it was still up. And actually this year, I think they kept it up all year round, but it was the most immersive overlay I've ever seen. When we're talking about living with the land or the Jungle Cruise, it's little things added to change the way that a ride feel or an attraction feels. Um, with the Haunted Mansion, it is a completely immersive overlay that totally transforms it into a different attraction where the Nightmare Before Christmas truly takes everything over. And I I wrote it for the first time this year and my jaw was like on the floor. It was so cool to see how they had updated the Haunted Mansion for Nightmare Before Christmas. I didn't know what to expect because I love the Haunted Mansion and it was truly incredible.
I think I do prefer the original one over the Nightmare Before Christmas one, but that's also partly because we tried to watch Nightmare Before Christmas with my little girl, and it just really, really creeped her out. And so when we were on the ride, she's like, "It's those guys, Daddy." And I'm like, well, okay, no, but as you said, it does change, right? It makes it's fun to see the different things they do, and they do such a great job of mixing in the Jack Skellington stuff and the Nightmare Before Christmas theming, and it is just such a perfect match, though. And then
Oh
it does,
yeah.
and since it goes over both holidays, it's perfect for both holidays, and it's just so well done.
Well, and I think so every haunted mansion throughout the world has a different building. And the building that is at Disneyland fits very well with that Nightmare Before Christmas overlay. I don't know that you could achieve the same effect at some of the other ones that are at the other parks, but it's just a perfect match for that specific haunted mansion and Nightmare Before Christmas.
And the fact that they also change the exterior, that it's all covered with
Yes.
pumpkins that are lit up and like, oh, jack-o'-lanterns really. And they have some of the Night Before Christmas characters out there as well as part of the decor. And so you get into that, the atmosphere and get into that story from the beginning before you even get into the haunted mansion itself.
Yep, that's actually probably the thing I took the most pictures of on that trip was the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay and the views from outside of the Haunted Mansion.
Now, jumping back to the East Coast, something that has special meaning to me is the Tower of Terror. And at night, they have, especially with the new projection technology that they're now using in the Magic Kingdom Park and at Disneyland Park during their nighttime spectaculars, where they can project things onto buildings, even with all the, the curves in the building and where a window is and everything else, that it maps on so nicely. That even call that it's mapping onto it, not just projecting onto
Mhm.
it. That the Tower of Terror goes back in time to whenever the Hollywood Tower Hotel was a deluxe, glamorous hotel. And you get to see it in all of its glory as it would have been back then. And they changed this, the projections kind of rotate as you go along. Like on the upper floors, you can like see into a window and you see a party there with people dancing. They'll sometimes change it to a gingerbread house with like some of the icing melting down it, and there are just so many different things that they do and the little details on it that, and again, it changes over time. So you can stand there for a half hour and watch it. You're not going to see the same thing over again. It's going to be new things that are changing. It's just so pretty.
It really is. And you're right. I mean, you can sit there for a half an hour and just keep watching it. And that's actually what we do. We will find a bench we'll sit and we'll watch the Tower of Terror and get some ice cream and see how the projections change, because it's just beautiful to watch, and it's a completely different way to see that structure.
And especially like right along Sunset Boulevard, that they have so many other of the decorations, like the
Hmm.
stars running along it are all lit up at night, and they'll have this is where they'll have some of the snow that comes down. They change locations occasionally. And the one time, I'm not sure if it was the last time, that they had like a laser effect thing that was going across the top of Sunset Boulevard, all up and down it. I guess I don't know if that was where the snow was that was reflecting off it, or if they had like a fog effect or whatever. That it was really neat thing to have like this canopy of lights above you when there's really nothing above you.
Yeah, it's really interesting what they do at Hollywood Studios for decorations, because it's very different than the other parks. The Hollywood Studios, you have the Tower of Terror with a projection, and how that brings back, the golden age of the the hotel. But they also have a lot of retro vibes just in general through the park, with the music, with the decorations, and like the laser show, how the theater looks. All of those things kind of bring back this earlier decade of how Christmas was celebrated and what it looked like.
And we're gonna hit on this later on, but that's also that they have their Jollywood Nights at Hollywood
Hmm.
Studios too. That, but with the Tower of Terror, uh, that's actually where I proposed to my wife. It was
Really?
it was a December 30th, so it was right before Christmas, and that is her favorite attraction. This was our first time down there. Well, for her first time down there, that whenever we were dating, we went down before Christmas. We had time to go, and I knew I was going to propose there. I had that planned. It was just a matter of where. I wasn't sure if it was in front of the castle or wherever else, but she loves, loves, loves the Tower of Terror. That is her favorite thing to do in Walt Disney World. And when we've been down there, we've ridden like so many times. But on this particular day that we were able to get a fast pass late at night. It was around 8 o'clock or so before we were gonna leave, back when they had fast passes. And so we went on it and we got off, and she turned around and looked up and just had all the projection stuff. This is one of the first times they had the projection. She's like, "Oh, that is so pretty." And so I was like, "All right, perfect moment." And so I proposed.
I love it. And now that will forever be the best attraction in Walt Disney World
Of
because of that
course.
memory.
So, but yeah, and I'll tell you one thing, walking around, well, one, going through airport security and then carrying around a fairly expensive engagement ring for several days is very, very nerve-wracking. So I
Yeah,
felt so
I
much
can
better when I was on her
imagine.
ring. Didn't want to
Keeping
lose
that
it.
secret and also keeping it protected. Don't drop it anywhere.
Exactly. So I was really nervous going through security of what if they need to search my bag? It's like, oh, what's this? Like, no.
Right? Don't show that. But that's really what makes Walt Disney World so special, is all of those special memories that we all have. And
Oh,
there are a
absolutely.
lot of special memories at Christmas.
And that's actually whenever my sister got married or got engaged was at Christmas at our house. It was in the morning that my now brother-in-law, whenever he came over, they proposed right in front of the Christmas tree.
Oh my
Of course, we
gosh, I
were all in
love
the
it.
other room, and then my sister like kind of screams and comes in, "I'm getting married!"
I love that.
So let's move on to Epcot with the International Festival of Holidays, which Epcot has become well, at least my wife and I's favorite park. That just because there's so much to see without waiting in a line to go on an attraction. That walking through the World Showcase, that there are so many things that you can look at and to see and to talk to the cast members and to learn about, that we just love going around there and just walk around and sightsee. And
Yeah,
during
I'm with you there. My absolute favorite park for all of those reasons.
during the Festival of the Holidays, that in the World Showcase, they have little plaques at each of the countries that tell a little bit about their how people of those countries will celebrate the holidays. And now not all of them celebrate Christmas. So those that do, it will tell about Christmas specifically, or mostly about Christmas, but other ones will tell about other winter festival traditions. And it's just neat. And then of course some of the they have performers there that will perform something that's a little bit more Christmassy. Some of the countries will have an actual Santa come out and talk about Christmas in their countries. So it's fabulous. And like I said before, not everyone celebrates Christmas. So especially in the American Adventure, they have little things devoted to Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. So you get other representations, and even in Morocco, it's a very big Muslim country. Sometimes they'll have a little bit of display, or they have some information about Ramadan, which is the big religious observance, month long fasting, and then celebration of Eid at the end of that. So it's really great to learn a little bit about other countries.
Yeah, and they don't only celebrate or they don't only look at the holidays that are in December, but they talk about how the different countries celebrate New Year's. So, like in Japan, they talked about the Daruma doll, if I'm saying that correctly. In China, they have a Chinese lion dancer, and they're talking about the Lunar New Year. So they do kind of expand that out beyond that December holiday or the December timeframe to also include the New Year for those countries that don't really celebrate something in that time.
And speaking of the Lunar New Year, that especially in Disneyland, that when it is actual real Lunar New Year, they do have some special activities and uh, things that are geared towards that. So to really bring in that the holiday and to celebrate it, and especially because the cast members who celebrate those holidays, they want to celebrate them as well, and it's really really nice and inclusive to say it's not just the majority holidays that we're going to celebrate. We're going to look at people who are minorities, who are our cast members, that we can help bring their culture out as well.
Yep. And I just took a quick peek at my festival guide from last year. They had 11 different types of performers around the World Showcase, showcasing all different holiday traditions.
And some of my favorite are in Norway, there's a mischievous barn Santa. In France, there's Pierre Noel. In the United Kingdom, it's Father Christmas. So it's really enjoyable to hear things like that. But the mischievous barn Santa.
I was just going to say that he is, I think, one of the highlights for everybody of the festival.
And you can actually meet Santa at the American Adventure. And there's he's also in Disney Springs. So he
Hmm.
gets around Walt Disney World. So of course, Santa, even with all of his prep work, he can still make time to get it to Disney before Christmas.
Yes.
Can't
Luckily,
blame
he's
him.
got that magic to be able to get around to places.
I would say I'd like to have his travel plan. Get to
Right?
Disney like instantly. We need to get some magic reindeer.
And I think another really fun one is in Italy, La Befana, which is the kind-hearted witch. And so that's a she visits sleeping children on the eve of Epiphany. And that's another fun one to check out.
And besides that, there are also musical performances. So they'll have people singing and like carolers going around, and
Hmm.
um, there's also a scavenger hunt that is Olaf's Holiday Tradition Expedition Scavenger Hunt. So yeah, there's a mouthful for you. But I believe that's free for the kids to do. Um,
So you have to buy
is
a
there
map
is
for
there
that
you
one.
buy the
It's
map?
usually about $10. But around World Showcase, and I think it goes beyond World Showcase just a little bit, but you find the little Olafs doing Christmassy things, and you put your stickers on, and at the end, you get a prize.
And actually, the last time we were there, both when we were at Disney Springs and at Epcot, especially with our little girl, that somebody who had done it, or they were a big family, they were doing it, so they had extras. They actually just gave us a map that was like already full. Like, here, you can go get your prize now. And so my little girl just liked getting a present. But that's why I thought it was free, because we got one handed to us. So it was free for
Yeah.
us. And my little girl is great at mooching things off people, whether it's at a restaurant getting food or we're like on a riding the bus and like, oh, someone's eating a snack. Can I have one of those? And it's like, we have money. We can buy you food. You don't have to scavenge.
Well, and the Disney Springs one too, when we talk about that, that one is free. It's just the Epcot one that's paid.
Okay. Uh, as always, and as Katie mentioned before, they have the photo pass, people taking pictures, and especially at the traditional great photo opportunities, places, especially in front of the Christmas tree and in front of Spaceship Earth, which, by the way, during Christmas, especially whenever they've done the updates with like the LED lights that can move and do graphics and like kind of make little pictures and things. There was one time that was white and red lights that kept rotating. It looked like a candy cane.
Hmm.
And there were
Yeah,
other
they have
times
some pretty cool light effects now.
it looks like it's snowing on a couple of them and the snow's piling up and it just so pretty that I have a couple of videos of that and I should again something you can stand there for a half hour and just watch.
Yep. Yeah, and one of my favorite things is to take a picture of my kids at night at Epcot in front of the Christmas lights, because that's something that I've been doing since they were very little. So it's definitely another tradition of ours to make sure that those Christmas lights are on full display and watching my kids grow year after year.
That's a great thing to help watch the pass of time and we've done that with our family of gotten the same picture taken in the same place years apart and to see how we've changed.
Yep. It's really incredible to watch.
Now, some of the more tastier things to do at Epcot are the holiday kitchens and the holiday cookie stroll.
Hmm.
That during some of the different festivals that they have the pop-up kitchens that sell food that's not normally there. It's themed to different countries, and sometimes it's countries that are not normally represented in the World Showcase. And you could just go there and just they talk about eating your way around the world. Now here's an extra way to eat your way around the world.
Yeah, the holiday kitchens are one of my favorite places. And for me, holiday flavors are some of the best flavors of the year, where you have, the pumpkin flavors, apple pie spices, you get into some of the fall type things, eggnog flavors that are out there. But the cookies are one of my favorite things for that cookie stroll. The Linzer cookie, if anyone has a chance to eat that, I highly recommend it.
And if you could have seen the look on Katie's face as she's describing these cookies, especially in the eyes, this is true love. Okay.
I love a good cookie. I can't lie. And for the cookie stroll too, with that, as with a lot of the Epcot festivals, there's a list of cookies that you can see or that you can purchase. And if you get 5 cookies, then you go to get a prize for your sixth. And usually it's some sort of sweet treat that goes along with it. Some of the festivals, it's an ice cream type treat. Sometimes it's a cookie. In this case, I believe it's usually a cookie. And sometimes they have a little keepsake that goes along with it too. So definitely check that one out.
So you get a collectible and good things to eat.
Yes, exactly.
And you can share the cookies too, so you don't have to eat them all because it
But
is
you
a
don't have
season of
to share the
sharing.
cookies. Yeah, you don't have to share the cookies, only if you want to.
And probably the most famous thing that you can do at Epcot during the holidays is the candlelight processional. And this is also at Disneyland out in California as well, that they have the candlelight processional. In Epcot, it's every night. For Disneyland, it's only specific nights of the year. They don't do it quite as often, but they have a choir in these wonderful, gorgeous, long, golden robes that seem to just shimmer and shine. That they march through carrying their candles. They go into the American Adventure Pavilion or the stage area, the performance area, and they like form a Christmas tree as they go up onto the risers, and they have a celebrity read the Christmas story accompanied by Christmas carols sung by this choir.
Yep. So this show is at American Garden Theaters and typically goes 3 times a night. And every night it will be packed. So if you want to see the show and you want to have really good seats, your best bet is to get a dining package. And by booking that dining package, you have reserved seating. And you can get in a different line that will allow you to get closer to the stage. But regardless of what you celebrate, this show is a sight to behold. It is probably one of the shows that I can guarantee will always bring a tear to my eye because of just the beauty of the singing, and the story being told. And there are a lot of really famous celebrity narrators. I think the most popular one, it has to be Neil Patrick Harris, right?
That's who I was thinking top of my head. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he hands down, everybody wants to see him. You might not want to go that night unless you're really dying to see Neil Patrick Harris because it will be mobbed. But there are a lot of really other really great performers. I think John Stamos has done it in the past. He's always gotten wonderful reviews. I'm trying to think of the name of, I think it was Matt Bellamy is who I saw one year. But yeah, there's just a lot of wonderful celebrity narrators.
And they'll release that list so that you can plan who you want to go see. And with the dining package that Katie mentioned, we can help you book that too. So,
We absolutely can.
and we can give you good tips of, oh yeah, I love that restaurant. It's, you gotta try this here, and it's so. But we also book your favorite restaurant too, because we all know everyone has those at Epcot.
Yep. What's your favorite restaurant to book with a dining package? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, you have to ask my wife because she's the one who controls the dining. Because it's okay, where should we eat? Okay, we're eating here. It's like, but can we? No, we're eating here. So my wife controls that. Oh geez, we've
I'm
never
coming in
done.
asking the hard questions.
I know you're stumping me here, putting me on the spot. I don't know if they have the dining package for the Candlelight Processional, but the in Japan, the like the hibachi place. Um,
Tapenado.
thank you.
Yeah.
That you get dinner and a show, and if you go to Candlelight Processional, you get a second show, so it's well worth it. I mean, even just
Yep.
watching them do the cooking there it's entertainment, and then the food itself is so delicious too. So
Oh, that's a great restaurant. I think my favorite to book is Rose and Crown. I, if only for the pudding, the bread pudding at the end, that just is amazing. And the shepherd's pie. You
and
end up
well,
having a very full belly and you need to go sit and watch a show.
and also with the Rose and Crown, if you're going to want to watch the nighttime spectacular at Epcot, depending on what it is, whenever you go, that is a great place to do some watching of the fireworks in the middle of World Showcase Lagoon.
Yep, absolutely.
That and over in Mexico, they have good views there too. So, but again, if you want to find your favorite place to eat with a dining package, I suggest you try them all. Not on the same
I
night though.
agree. Yeah, definitely not all on the same night, but there is not a bad restaurant in Epcot, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. So, all right, we're gonna jump over. Well, actually, if we wanted to, we can get on the monorail and take that to the Transportation and Ticket Center, then take another monorail and go to Magic Kingdom Park, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. That this happens on select nights. It is an extra cost, and it is somewhat of it's a decent cost as well. That it can be more than a park ticket, but it's value. That what you're paying
Mhm.
for, you get what you are paying for. So it costs a lot, but it's not overpriced for what you get.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think the cost is well worth it, um, especially if you are able to stay out until the end of the party. If you can stay until the 1 o'clock ending, um, you're going to get your money's worth out of that ticket.
Especially because it starts at like 6 or 7 o'clock um, in the evening, and but you can get into the park like around 4 o'clock. So you get in a bit
Hmm.
early. So you're getting a good 8, 9 hours of park experience. Which, if you're gonna open the park up at 8 o'clock and stay until 6 o'clock anyway, that's about what you're getting. But you get a little bit later on. There's fewer people there, so it's lesser crowds, lesser waits, and all the extra special stuff of special parades. There's different shows that they'll put on. There's fireworks. You get to meet the characters. They have food and hot chocolate. There's a dessert party you can go to as well, and of course the photo pass. And
Yeah,
of course,
it's a lot of things that come with that party.
and you are there at night with all the lights, and especially because this is December, so at 6 o'clock it will be dark.
Hmm.
It's dark, getting closer to 5 o'clock. That you're there the entire time with all these lights on, and you get to see all the decorations. And they have the fireworks stuff late at night that you're not going to see during um, the normal day, and it's special stuff and the and it's things you cannot see at any other time.
And there are even some attraction overlays for the holiday that are only during the party. So that's another very cool thing that you can only experience during the party. My favorite, Space Mountain.
It's the one I like. Well, it's not Christmassy, but the hyperspace mountain that they have out in Disneyland. That's an experience. But
Yeah, I haven't gotten to do that one, but the Space Mountain that's at the Christmas party, they do red. Well, the outside of Space Mountain will change to different colors, so they'll have red or green. That will change, but then inside it plays Christmas music, like Christmas orchestra. I think it's got to be Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It's that kind of vibe, as well as having red and green shooting through Space Mountain.
that so you sort of get the um in Hollywood Studios Rock and Roller Coaster experience, but on Space Mountain.
Yes, absolutely.
That's something I have to. Now that my little girl is, I think she's big enough to do Space Mountain now. That she was exactly 42 inches last time. I think she's with shoes on. I think she'll clear 44 inches. So fingers crossed for this upcoming visit.
Well, so this is actually the perfect time to do Space Mountain too, if your kids haven't done it before, because it's lit up in a different way. It's more fun rather than scary. So it's a good time to get them used to, hey, let's go on it, let's ride it. And then that way when you go during Halloween and it's pitch black, they're prepared.
And this is why you book trips with Katie, because she gives you those awesome tips like that are going to help make the trip that much more memorable and enjoyable, not only for you, but also for the kids. But with Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, we can help book those tickets for you and arrange things with the dessert party and all that other stuff. And as we mentioned before, over in Hollywood Studios, they have Jollywood Nights, which is a similar experience to what you get at uh, Magic Kingdom Park with Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. But as Katie said, it's themed to it's a 1940s, you know, Holly stereotypical Hollywood party that you would see in movies about that time.
Yeah, and it really celebrates the glitz and glamour of Hollywood at the holidays. So it is encouraged when you go to this Jollywood Nights party to dress up and wear your finest when you're heading out. And it's a, I would say, elevated level of party versus the Magic Kingdom. So the Magic Kingdom is very family friendly. Not that Hollywood Studios isn't family friendly, but it's very kid focused in a lot of ways, where the Hollywood Studios is that more elevated, let's go out and dress up and have a drink together and celebrate the holidays.
It's the hoity-toity Hollywood cocktail party type
It
thing.
is. It is, yeah.
just not quite as ruckus, later on in the evening. So
So that means this year I need to get a feather boa to go. A feather boa and my high heels.
I'll say you just need one of those just anyway, right?
Well,
No closet is
yeah,
complete without a feather boa.
I may actually have one somewhere.
Last thing we're gonna hit on in Walt Disney World Resort is at Disney Springs, and we mentioned before the Christmas tree walk. We can go around and see all the different Christmas trees, and they have all the other displays, and you also get some of the snow there too, and all the different stores are decorated. You can meet Santa, and it's it's so wonderful that they go so all out with it. And even the um World of Disney Christmas store, or a store that is in Disney Springs, that is, the giant Disney themed store, that all the stuff they have in there and the displays, it's themed towards Christmas, and you have extra little gifts you can buy that are Christmassy, and it just walking through there is enough to get you in the Christmas spirit.
Oh, for sure. And one of the things that I love about the Christmas tree stroll is that it is entirely free. So you pick up your map at one of the Disney Springs locations that has the maps. Those change every year, so can't really say who's going to have it this year. Usually Basin is one of those areas, and that's where I usually get my maps. Um, and then you go and you find the trees around Disney Springs, you stick your sticker on, and each tree, depending on the theme for the year, is themed individually. So last year, a lot of them were around different movies. So we had Star Wars, we had Coco, lots of, I think there was an Encanto tree, lots of different themes, and each tree is not just lightly decorated, it is decorated to the nines. And then once you complete your map, you can bring that back to the location and get a special prize at the end as well.
So again, something fun to do that doesn't cost you money, and there's no line to wait in. So, and if you really don't want to walk around the whole thing and your feet hurt, you can just put the stickers on and they won't judge you. Don't worry.
That is absolutely true. And that's true for Epcot too.
Yes. So we're going to jump across the United States, and we're going to hit briefly on Disneyland Resort. That there's a lot of overlap to what you're going to get at Walt Disney World Resort. So we're not going to go into everything with all the details. We'll just highlight a few things. They have all the decorations, and they have their giant Christmas trees, and they do have gingerbread houses, or a gingerbread house at the Grand Californian. So we were out there a couple years ago, and we were walking through, just seeing everything, and it was unexpected. I was not thinking that it would be out there because I knew it was a Disney World thing. I was like, "Oh my gosh, they have it here too! So awesome!" So it was a nice touch, and the Grand Californian, well, all those hotels out there are just so pretty. That and by the way, we talked about the Disneyland hotels on another episode of the podcast, that I think it was with Donna, that I had, our boss, that we talked about that with her.
Yeah, the hotels out there are amazing. And so I haven't been at Christmas time for Disneyland, but I was lucky enough to go right after for the races this year, and all the decorations were still up. Their Disney Springs, the decorations that they had there were very cool. But I think my favorite thing to see were the ice caps on top of Sleeping Beauty Castle.
Oh yeah, the way the castle was decorated, and the big garland that went there, and the wreath they had in the middle. And the really neat thing there is, whenever you ride the Astro Orbiter over in Tomorrowland, it's right at the entrance of Tomorrowland, not up on top of like the People Mover in Walt Disney World. And you get a very good view of Sleeping Beauty Castle from a little bit of an elevated perspective. So you're up a little bit higher. Just be careful about looking over there and getting motion sickness, and you got to kind of look quickly because you're spinning around in a circle the whole time as you're doing it.
Yeah, it's really an incredible view.
So I was able to snap a few pictures that are slightly crooked, so they're not too bad.
You have to go really quick.
Very seriously. They have the Christmas Fantasy Parade, the Believe in Holiday Magic Fireworks, and then we already talked about It's a Small World. They have the Jingle Cruise and the Haunted Mansion Holiday Overlay.
Yep.
So yeah, we have a little visitor to the studio. Okay, can I go upstairs?
eating my ice cream because I ate my healthy food. Now mom is really proud of me.
Okay. So she did good at dinner and got to eat ice cream. So that's a win
Hey,
for
I'm
tonight.
proud of her for eating ice cream too. I'd like some ice cream.
In Disney California Adventure Park, they also have a festival of the holidays, and it's to celebrate the multicultural and diverse cuisine and traditions and everything. This one though is geared a little bit more towards the Hispanic community. So they have Disney Viva Navidad. It has special food. World of Color has Season of Light as a special show instead of the color of one, or just what was it, just one. They have some overlays there of Mater's Jingle Jamboree instead of Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, and Luigi's Joy to the Whirl, WHIRL. So,
Love that little play on words. They always come up with something.
and just the Cars Land area itself, the decorations on there, they go all out.
Oh
And
yeah.
of course, it is themed that they had garland going across the road, and then for the wreaths, they were tires that would have like a little bow on them or something. So again, fun little nuances that you're going to see.
And there's always those little details. So that was really fun to see that the wreaths were tires. It just like if you're walking down Main Street, the wreaths are Mickey heads, it's always something special everywhere you look.
Absolutely. And one thing that I did not mention before that I do want to go back to is that at the hotels, the little Christmas trees, like the parks are, the decorations are themed towards it. They're themed to that. Like in the yacht club, on the Christmas trees, they had sailboats.
Yep. I
So
think it's French Quarter. Um, they have the masquerade masks and the purple and gold garland on the tree. That's actually one of my favorite trees.
So yeah, resort hopping, just go around and see what they are. And at Disneyland, it's a whole lot easier because there's only 3 of them.
Yeah.
So I think we've come to the end of talking about Disney during Christmas. Although we could talk more about it, but I think we've gone for about an hour and a half now. So
I know we could keep going, but time to wrap up probably.
depending on how many people can keep listening. So, all right, Katie, what is your travel tip for today?
So my travel tip is that you absolutely do not need to spend extra money. So as much as I would love to tell everybody to go do Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, it's not always necessary. Take your time, look at what's free, the resort hopping that we were talking about, the Christmas tree stroll at Disney Springs. There is plenty to do outside of the parks that will bring you that joy that comes along with Christmas, and you can make plenty of memories without spending a dime.
And that's always nice. And that's another thing that you're going to get whenever you book a trip with someone with Dreams by Design Travel is that, yes, we get paid commission on what we book, but that is not our ultimate goal, is to get us the highest commission. Our goal is to give you the most awesome vacation, which then you're going to come back and book again with us, which is better than just getting a big commission once. We want to get you a repeat business because we want to give you a quality experience, and we want to make these all super memorable, your favorite vacation that you ever been on. The next one's replaces your favorite vacation. Next one's your new favorite vacation, that type of thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the reason that I do this is not because of the commissions or anything along those lines. It's because I want to help people have the same type of memories that me and my family made. We look back on all of our trips with such happiness, and my kids are always looking forward to our next family trip because of the memories we've made. And I want that for other people.
And that is a running theme throughout all of the travel advisors at Dreams by Design Travel, that sentiment has been voiced several times on this podcast of, I want you to have the best time of your life and have these great memories. And even part of the other thing that I enjoy is just the excitement of planning a trip. And I know how exciting it is whenever I plan my own vacations and my own trips, and then to share that excitement with other people of, oh, we're going here and then we're going to do this, then we're going to do that, and the weather's going to be so gorgeous and it's so pretty here, and just the anticipation and the build up for that. We get to experience that all the time even when we're not going on the trip, that we're helping somebody else. So we get to do it vicariously. But then whenever someone comes back and they tell us how wonderful the trip was, that's, it's nice getting paid, but that is like the drive behind us, or at least for me specifically, for why I want to do this. That, the money's just a nice bonus, but getting that nice fulfillment of potentially making a difference in someone's life with
Oh,
those vacations.
absolutely. Yeah, it's all about helping people make memories, helping them take the stress out of vacation planning so they can enjoy the whole thing and we get to watch it. I mean, how much better can it get than that?
Yeah, I think some of us have made the mistakes the first time we've gone somewhere, so we know which ones what not to do. So we'll pass that along so you don't need to make those mistakes a second time. So with my travel tip is to plan to spend some time at the World Showcase and read the information for each of the countries that's displayed as part of the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays. Check the schedules for the live performances, and even the countries that don't predominantly celebrate Christmas have interesting storytellers and other things that, as we mentioned before, it's a whole lot of fun just walking around there. And of course, there's the candlelight processional that even if you don't stay for the whole thing, just watching the procession come in, and even if you want to just hang out in the back and just listen to a few songs or whatever, it's just so pretty, and it's just nice just to be in that element, in that atmosphere, that even for just a 10-minute thing, it will really, really bring you into the Christmas, atmosphere and the Christmas feeling.
Absolutely.
So, if you have a destination or experience that you would like to have us discuss on the Where Yinz Goin podcast, or if you'd like to share your favorite destination or a travel tip, feel free to contact me. I'd love to hear your feedback and ideas. If you are already working with a Dreams by Design travel advisor, please continue to work with him or her. Otherwise, Katie, how can people get a hold of you?
So you can find me at KDT on Facebook or at Park Life Planning on Facebook and Instagram.
For me, my social media stuff is at Matt with DBD on Facebook, X, and Instagram. My email is Matt, MATT, at dreamsbydesigntravel.com. The website for our company is dreamsbydesigntravel.com. All of this information is in the episode description, so you can contact us if you want to book a trip or have any questions, and you don't have to memorize it now or write it down right away. Um, so you can look that up. Katie, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for Christmas and ready for a trip to Disney. So,
I'm ready for cookies.
well, I'm always ready for cookies. So,
Well, yeah.
but thank you again for coming on with me. This was a whole lot of fun.
Thanks for having me. It's always fun.
I need to put a Christmas tree up now. So,
Yep, I'm ready.
so everyone else out there, please like, follow, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend. If you like what you heard, please pass it along. We'd like to grow our audience, so let other people know about it. Join us next time. We're heading that. We'll see you later.